Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, born April 26th in the year 121 AD, was a Roman emperor, Stoic philosopher, and one of history's greatest leaders. Considered one of the 5 good emperors of the last peaceful period of the Roman Empire before its division in 395 AD and subsequent decline, Marcus is now most commonly remembered for his Meditations, a series of notes, thoughts, and journal entries about Stoic philosophy. If you're looking for the best quotes from Marcus Aurelius about Stoicism and what it means to live a good life, welcome, you've found just the right place. In this organized list, you'll discover the 10 most popular Marcus Aurelius quotes, based on reader votes from Goodreads. We'll also share Nick's favorite lines from the great thinker, a little background on why philosophy is worth studying, and a whole bunch of custom-made images you can use to share your favorite quotes to social media. I learned to read carefully and not be satisfied with a rough understanding of the whole. Marcus said, "These 7 books are a great place to expand your understanding of philosophy and life." You can easily navigate this list by using the below table of contents. Jump to whichever section interests you the most with a single click. If you want to share any quote on this list, simply highlight it, and several sharing options will appear. Alternatively, you can skip to the images section at the end of this list. Now, let's dive into the best quotes from Marcus Aurelius, and in his first of many great lines, remember that you always own the option of having no opinion. Things are not asking to be judged by you, so take what you find useful, consume what you find inspiring, and ignore the rest. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. Think constantly on the changes of the elements into each other, for such thoughts wash away the dust of earthly life. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart.
Life can often feel like an emotional roller coaster, with unexpected events triggering feelings from anxiety to anger. How can you gain more control over this turbulent inner world? Controlling your emotions and cultivating inner resilience is no easy task. Life brings unpredictable changes that can easily throw you off balance. How do we gain clarity and tranquility amidst the turbulence? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides a guiding light. Stoics were masters of managing emotional reactions and navigating adversity with wisdom. By learning their secrets and practicing 7 powerful Stoic lessons, you too can develop greater mastery over your feelings and responses. By implementing the following techniques, you will be well equipped to ride out life's ups and downs. Continue reading to learn the details of these insightful Stoic principles for emotional regulation and tranquility. The Stoic philosophers provide timeless guidance. This dichotomy of control is central to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics recognize that while there are many external events we cannot influence, our judgments and reactions remain within our power. For instance, you cannot control whether it rains on a planned picnic, but you can manage your response, choosing to accept the change in plans with grace rather than frustration. Could you take a moment to reflect on a recent disappointment? Could it have felt different by shifting your perspective? What aspects were actually within your control? Developing this discernment takes practice, but frees you from wasting energy on futile expectations. We gain inner resilience by focusing only on what we can control: our values, priorities, and self-discipline. External factors may knock us off balance temporarily, but we can regain equilibrium through clear intention. Just like a sailor can't command the winds but can adjust the sails, you too can navigate life's unpredictable currents through self-mastery. In our fast-paced digital era, taking time for deep reflection has become more rare. Yet, a conscious pause before reacting can diffuse many regrettable moments. The next time you feel a flash of anger or hurt by a comment, resist the urge to fire back. Instead, could you take a few breaths and reflect? What underlying beliefs or past experiences may be shaping your emotional response? Do you know if the intention was malicious? This thoughtfulness fosters empathy and understanding on both sides. It also reveals our patterns, those reactive pitfalls we continuously step into. That self-knowledge allows us to catch ourselves next time and respond consciously rather than impulsively. We start responding from our values rather than our vulnerabilities. So remember to press pause, sleep on a heated argument before crafting a reply. Take a walk around the block to gain perspective. Please write down your turbulent emotions to process them. Widen the space between stimulus and response. At first glance, practicing dispassion may seem cold and detached. It evokes images of a Stoic philosopher observing tragedy without batting an eye. However, true dispassion is not indifference. Instead, it provides a steady calm to engage fully with life. Imagine you're watching a suspenseful movie. You may feel energized or afraid at different moments, but a part of you remains grounded in the knowledge that it's simulated entertainment. This ability to experience the emotion while maintaining distance is critical. When faced with real-life frustrations, pause and get into observer mode. Notice the chain reaction as anger arises in response to traffic. See how past resentment colors a current interaction. Watch the mind generate catastrophizing scenarios about the future. Here is incredible power in noticing your experience from this balcony view. It allows you to gain needed perspective. The situation may require action. You may still need to communicate your hurt or address the problem. But by cultivating dispassion, you can do so in a thoughtful manner, true to your values. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Seneca. On any given day, our minds may buzz with a dozen concerns, from a perceived mistake at work to an argument with a family member. In the heat of frustration, each can feel monumental, as if our reputation or relationship hangs in the balance. And yet, zooming out to view life on a broader time scale often reveals how fleeting such worries are. As Seneca notes, preparing our minds as if death could arrive at any moment puts trivialities into perspective. So the next time you find yourself preoccupied and anxious over a problem, pause and take a mental leap into the future. Will this issue still feel significant in a year? How about in 5? For most day-to-day worries, the answer will be a grounding revelation. Of course, that is not to diminish genuine concerns that have lasting impacts, but this simple shift in vantage point helps prioritize where to spend your mental energy. It allows us to let go of transient frustrations and invest more deeply in the relationships, passions, and values that give our lives meaning. The philosopher's school, ye men, is a surgery. You ought not to go out of it with pleasure but pain, for you are not in sound health when you enter. Journaling was a common practice among the Stoics, serving as a tool for self-analysis and implementing wise principles. Marcus Aurelius carried his journal everywhere to capture insights and strengthen his character. We too can benefit from this ritual of daily reflection. Each night, take a few minutes to record the day. What moments of joy arose? What triggered irritation? How did you respond, and do you wish you had reacted differently? Over time, patterns will emerge. You may notice certain people consistently bring out your worst reactive tendencies, or that interrupting work to walk outside boosts your mood and focus. Use these insights to strengthen weak spots and build on strengths. The journal becomes a log of progress, because putting our flaws down in writing makes them more difficult to ignore. This practice increases self-accountability. It clarifies where we focus our energy to become the best version of ourselves. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Challenges are an inevitable part of life. A Stoic mindset recognizes that within every obstacle lies an opportunity for growth, if only we're willing to shift our perspective. Suppose your dream job falls through after multiple rounds of interviews. In the throes of disappointment, the easy reaction is discouragement and bitterness. I must not have been good enough. I knew I couldn't do it, but with time, you realize this redirect provided valuable skills that qualify you for an even better position, or an injury prevents you from your regular athletic training. Instead of frustration, you view it as a chance to diversify your exercise routine and strengthen neglected muscles. The impediment advances action in unexpected ways. Each downfall contains the seeds of renewal. Practicing this resilience takes courage. However, adopting a Stoic mindset allows temporary setbacks to expand our potential further. Where in your life could a shift in perspective transform an obstacle into an opportunity? True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Seneca. Gratitude may seem like a warm sentiment reserved for Thanksgiving meals. However, deliberately cultivating this mindset every day provides profound benefits. The Stoics recognized that appreciating life's gifts protects us from constantly seeking more while overlooking the present abundance. So, instead of moving through each day on autopilot, make gratitude a focal point. List 3 things you're grateful for and reflect on in the morning and evening. Thank a stranger who holds the door for you. Savor a walk outside with full attention. Share genuine expressions of gratitude with loved ones. This emphasis on the present over the uncertain future fosters excellent peace of mind. Even when external circumstances shake us, gratitude's quiet magic smooths the ride. It helps us appreciate each breath, every sensory detail, and the faces passing by on the street that we'll never see again. Soon, this gains momentum until gratitude becomes a practice and a worldview. The ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy provides a framework for building emotional resilience, clarity, and tranquility. By differentiating between external and internal control, responding consciously, finding a balance between logic and passions, keeping the big picture in mind, analyzing our days, flexibly adapting to adversity, and taking time to appreciate life's gifts, we can traverse the terrain of existence with more emotional stability. Implementing even a few timeless principles can help us engage in the world as our best selves.
Cultivating presence, self-awareness, and resilience promised by these 7 Stoic approaches requires commitment. But with regular practice, you will navigate life's journey with much more significant serenity. These ancient lessons still speak to us in the 21st century with wisdom and direction. That might seem like an obvious statement, but when in an anger-fueled state, that fact often goes over our heads. Let me take you on a simple journey to your inner self. Daily, the number of things that can simply spark a flame of rage in you are innumerable. There are far too many to count. You can either let them define you, or you can take control of your emotions and remain true to yourself. In his book, Enchiridion Handbook, Epictetus tells us to choose the latter. Let's break down some of his assertions on the topic. It is easy for me to give generic advice such as, a Stoic, or anyone for that matter, should be indifferent, but I do not want to veer into that simplistic view. Epictetus did acknowledge the presence of things that would trigger ill emotions. He also acknowledged that each and every one of us faces these triggers in our day-to-day lives. Here's how he addressed them. Make it your study to confront every harsh impression with the words, "You are but an impression and not at all what you seem to be." Then test it by those rules that you possess. And first by this, the chief test of all, is it concerned with what is in our power or with what is not in our power? Whatever has happened to you can only fall into 2 categories: things that you can control, things that are above and beyond you. Let me ask you, if your boss wakes up and decides to fire you over nothing, would that have been your fault? Would getting frustrated in any way improve your situation? It's clear that the answers to these questions is no. And so when we are hindered or disturbed or distressed, let us never lay the blame on others but on ourselves, that is, on our own judgments. The actions that occur on the outer self, whether inflicted by another or yourself, will not change. How we choose to perceive them is entirely up to us. If a deed is directed towards me from simple insults to all kinds of aggression, then how I view them is entirely in my power. What is even more significant is what I choose to do after that deed. If I am red like the Wolverine on a rampage, then I am assured of destruction, both in my life and to other people. To accuse others for one's own misfortunes is a sign of want of education. To accuse oneself shows that one's education has begun to accuse neither oneself nor others, shows that one's education is complete. Epictetus goes to lengths to show the simplicity of not pointing a finger. A finger to oneself is of no benefit, one to others is equal in its emptiness. An appeal to the reflection of one's actions without destroying yourself about it is the highest level of mental sophistication for yourself. This mental sophistication is simplified in the term education. Whether we like it or not, it is impossible to live forever. Once you are mentally sophisticated or educated in the fashion of Epictetus, then you go to a higher step. That step is encompassed in the words of Aurelius. Do not act as if you were going to live for 1,000 years. The inescapable is hanging over your head. While you are alive, while it is still possible, become a good person. The relevance of this verse is contextual, as it refers to the complementary one that follows it. Being good refers to the mental attitude of change and a solid foundation in indifference, what ease of mind a person gains when he keeps his eye, not on what his neighbor has said or done or thought, but only on what he himself does, to ensure that it is just or holy or matches what a good person does. Your mental dwelling can only be dictated by a central force that comes from within. Any disturbance from outside that is of no benefit may bring down any real gains you may have made. My advice to you is not to entirely and ignorantly push away outer influence. What I am driving at is actively keeping your thoughts aligned in any way that you may see fit to you. Receive good criticism, and as a lover of philosophy, open your mind to new possibilities in your character. Our mental state primarily dictates our well-being. Keep a stoic mindset for a healthy headspace.